Sure.
We on? I don't have any schedule to walk over. Do you want to walk over?
Yeah, I like walking over.
Okay.
Hey, folks. Margaret's on the control. Tyler's doing a great job. And then we've got Mark and Kelly. What I'm going to be talking about on this next weather hit is you're not going to believe when we see Irma, how it's kind of connected and goes all the way up into Canada, and it's producing rain right now up in Newfoundland. So it's kind of this cool satellite picture we're going to show. You'll probably have to show it on the monitor because all they're going to see is this big green screen. That's the big green screen, by the way. And waiting for the new advisory comes in at 11 o'clock. That's going to have important information. Really, the 11 o'clock advisory now is just going to update the track from 5. I'm not really expecting much difference. But it's also interesting on those advisories, the Hurricane Center at 5 and 11 includes a discussion, a technical discussion of what their thinking is, whether or not they think the storm's going to intensify, any changes to the track. So that's why the 5 o'clock and the 11 o'clock advisory is critical, because we get a sense from what, and the meteorologists at the Hurricane Center are outstanding. We get their thoughts, and a lot of it's technical jargon, but it's good information for us. And, you know, they could say something like there may be a track shift to the west, or there's a possibility the storm could weaken because of this, or the storm could intensify. So that's kind of stuff we hear. And then we'll go on right after this.
And that goes to you guys also, or I know you have a lot of volunteers here. There was a message put out earlier from an emergency official that they needed more volunteers to help with these shelters. The other place that we saw a lot of people earlier today was at the sandbag location as people got ready and did some last minute preps. We talked with one person as he filled up dozens of sandbags himself.
It's kind of an interesting set, just more data.
Oh, we're loading sandbags up. We've got plywood on all the windows. Nowadays, the houses come already.
Coffee. A lot of coffee gets us through hurricane coverage. We're here for the long haul.
Just gonna hold down, hold our own.
And what you're looking at right now is some video that we shot a little bit earlier at Hudson Beach. There were some folks who went out there just to, I guess, get one last look at what the beach looked like before the storm comes through, because you know it's going to look a lot different, or it very well may look a lot different in the coming days after Irma has passed through. You know, there's going to be beach erosion. Who knows the amount of debris you're going to see over there. Some folks that they wanted to see what the town before the storm looked like, before the storm moved in.
We hope so, because we know that there's going to not only
Ready?
be 100-mile-an-hour plus winds, but also, yes, it's just going to be terrifying. But also, the storm surge, we're really not sure how high that's going to go. Stay safe there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, let's talk about the surge, the winds, and some more data. I know you guys are always getting some new info.
You know, always looking at different angles to talk about, and I was in the weather office just kind of looking at the satellite presentation going, ooh. You know, the thing about the satellite presentation, you know, you're looking at all these colors. They really have a meaning. And you look at this kind of rust color around the center. These are the areas where the thunderstorms are really highest in the sky, and it's the worst weather. You look for that to kind of circle itself around the eye. This is not a radar view. This, because it's nighttime, you know, the satellite's not going to see any clouds. It's dark. So this is literally taking a temperature of the clouds, and the colder cloud tops would indicate bigger thunderstorms and more severe weather. What I found kind of interesting about this loop is as I expand on this, we'll zoom in a little bit. One thing you do notice is a general motion now to the north and northwest, but look at how big Irma is. It actually kind of connects itself all the way off the Carolina coast, and then all the way up to Newfoundland, where they've been complaining about high humidity and heavy rain. So look at the scope of this storm when you kind of pan out a little bit and you tilt the satellite. It's incredible. We have all this water, all this rain over our state and down over the Keys and Cuba. and they would do anything in California to have some of this water, where fires continue in Montana, in California, and Wyoming, and our neck of the woods, we're going to have simply too much water the next couple of days. So there you go, kind of an interesting connection, goes all the way up to Newfoundland and really beyond the scope of this satellite view, probably all the way up to Iceland, is a connection from powerhouse Hurricane Irma. We'll get another view on this, and we're going to spin this around. You just watch the eye here, and it looks like it finally is beginning to move, and you can see the deeper reds kind of winding itself up around the center. There is very little doubt that the storm is getting its act together again as it kind of removes itself from the impacts and the clutch of Cuba. It'll move away. There could be fluctuations in strength, but there'll be at least some intensification along the way. Also note, a little bit east of us, we've got bands of rain being picked up by Sky Tower. These individual little cells could be spinning. There's already been a tornado warning near Vera. So later on tonight, when you go to bed, and you should get a good night's sleep tonight. I'm not telling you to turn off our newscast, but this is a night where you really need to sleep well, folks. You get a good 8 hours, because you're not going to sleep very well tomorrow night, and you really want to be well rested when you have to make decisions, quick decisions. So I urge you to try to get a good 8 hours tonight. We're going to have bands coming in from the east, so have your Sky Tower app near you, and that way if there's a tornado warning, you'll receive it on your phone. The problem and the difficulty with tornado storms are moving along with the circulation of the hurricane. They race to the west, 50, 60 miles an hour. So as soon as we go on TV and say there's a tornado warning here, it's gone. I mean, it moves that fast. And usually these tornadoes don't stay on the ground for any length of time. So you're going to see a whole bunch of them the next couple of days. Vero, down 95, then we head south. You can see rain, heavy rain, West Palm, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, and then here's the hurricane, which continues to wrap itself up, pretty well-defined eye. Key West just had, in the past 10 minutes, their first official wind gust. Hurricane force, 74 miles an hour wind gust now, plus along the Keys, and their weather is only going to get worse from this point on. And you look at the radar presentation of this, and you can tell that this is not much of a week of storm. Yeah, it's not 185. We never thought it would be when it got up close to us, but it's still a very powerful and a very dangerous hurricane. The winds are picking up. 60 Marathon, 67 Key West, 38 Miami, 46 in West Palm. We've got 22 in Tampa, 21 in Brooksville. The wind gust forecast for the next couple of days, and you'll watch the numbers really get up there. This is Sunday. This is 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then during the day, by 4 o'clock, you've got 45, 50, gust up to 60. And then tomorrow night, between 9 o'clock, which I think is prime time, we've got 106 in Sarasota, 112 in Venice, 112 Arcadia. And then the hurricane moves pretty much over us. You may have a time, we don't get a lot of this experience in Tampa Bay, but if that eye holds together, we may have an opportunity where some of you may be under the eye. And if it's right over you, skies clear out, could see the moon, see some stars, and then the eye goes by you, the winds go the other way, and rain comes back down, and you go from no rain, no wind, to 70 miles an hour in about 5 minutes. We may get in the eye, at least some of us, tomorrow night. So that'll be something else that we'll be talking about too. Then by tomorrow, and then by Monday at 9 a.m., with the storm heading up to Gainesville and Ocala, our winds whip in from the southwest, and that's when the water is going to come back up the bay. So after a day or two, today and tomorrow, with the water going out in the Gulf, it's going to do a 180 and come back in from the southwest, and that's when the flooding is going to occur early on Monday morning. A sustained 70 to 90, gust 100 to 130, a lot of roof and siding damage. We made a great point during the last hour. When you talk about weather situations like this, big storms, widespread damage, a lot of the injuries and death do not occur during the storm, they occur after the storm. You got trees down, and you say, I'm going to use I'm going to use the chainsaw I haven't used in 5 years, and you end up hurting yourself. So before you get all gung-ho Tuesday and Wednesday about working around the yard, make sure you know what you're doing and you don't hurt yourself. Then you get trees uprooted and snapped, and then you have near total power loss across not only the Bay Area, but it's going to be 60 to probably 80% of the state without power by early on Tuesday morning. So let's go over to Tyler to have some more information. Tyler?
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Paul. And I want to remind everybody that new track from the National Hurricane Center should be coming in within the next 10 or 15 minutes. I would imagine we'll get some new data on how strong the storm is now. Hurricane hunters are flying nonstop in this thing. They've got a new flight flying right into the eye as we speak to see what kind of winds they find. But let's talk about some more local impacts here, kind of breaking it down county by county. We've had a lot of questions. As we speak, I'm getting comments on Facebook and messages. What can I expect here? I'm traveling early in the morning. I'm hoping to get to places like Orlando. What time should I leave? You know, I would expect those tropical storm force gusts to really start setting in our southern counties early tomorrow morning, perhaps as early as daybreak for Sarasota County, DeSoto, into Highlands, and then moving north from there. Certainly by 10, 11 a.m. tomorrow, I would wrap up any travel because those winds would increase pretty rapidly through the afternoon and then just gets worse from there into the overnight hours Sunday night. The worst of it will be Sunday night into Monday morning, so that, like Paul was saying, tomorrow night is not a night when you're going to get a whole lot of sleep. Manatee County, Sarasota County, wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour, if not more than that at this point. That tornado threat will be ongoing, and that will really ramp up late tonight and continue through most of the day tomorrow until the center of this storm passes on by. 6 to 10 feet of storm surge there, and the storm surge is the one variable I think that you're going to see some possible changes with as we nail down the exact track. If it goes a little bit further west, you could see those numbers put up higher than that, and that is not good news. So we really hope that that track stays where it is now, or perhaps move a little further east. If it moves further east, these storm surge numbers may come down a little bit. These are the numbers as we speak. For Pinellas County, pretty much the Enclo River down to Anna Maria Island, including Tampa Bay, 5 to 8 feet of storm surge, and unfortunately this comes at high tide. That's the other kind of factor you have to factor in there. We talk about storm surge versus storm tide. Storm tide factors in not only the high tide levels that we'll be dealing with, but also the storm surge on top of that. Wind gusts to 100 miles per hour for our inland areas as well. The inland area is really going to be dealing with, I think, the biggest tornado threat simply because you're pretty much going to be on the eastern and northeastern side of this storm as it comes northward. That's typically where we see the worst tornado threat with landfalling tropical systems because of the amount of shear and the angle that it introduces that shear into the atmosphere. Everybody's going to be dealing with 10 inches of rainfall plus. Again, when this is all said and done, I don't think we'll be talking about how bad the rainfall was, but 10 to 15 inches of rain can certainly cause some freshwater flooding issues, staying water on the roads. If you're typically a place that floods during the heaviest of summer thunderstorms, you're going to be dealing with that kind of same flooding with this rainfall that comes through with Irma. For the northern coast, nature coast, wind gusts to 90 to 100 miles per hour. Storm surge there will still be significant, 4 to 6 feet, but it's all going to come on the backside of the storm as it looks like right now, so that won't be happening until early Monday morning. Some impressive wave heights with the system right now, 20 to 30 foot waves right near the center where Irma is. That's going to be pushing north. A lot of it will be riding up the east coast of Florida simply because there's a lot more onshore flow there. There's a longer fetch, and by that I mean there's a longer period of, or longer area that the winds are traveling over to build up that water. So up and down the east coast of Florida, incredible wave heights. That's going to add to the surge there. Here on us on the western coast, 15 to 20 foot waves moving north as Irma pushes north through Florida and up into Georgia. So we'll be watching those very close. How do you guys?
All right, let's do a little, stay tuned. Can you stay right there for a second? All right.
We have some questions.
Irma may technically be offshore here, but places like the Keys and Miami are already feeling the storm's impact.
Yeah, they had actually some tornado warnings. Fox says Joe Waldman's been outside all day in Miami, and okay, what's it like right now, Joe?
All of you, and I'll tell you right now, it is not so bad, but at the afternoon, again, was a totally different story. We got absolutely nailed by the rain and wind. It felt like Hurricane Irma, but clearly they have not arrived.
Here's the black people.
That's weird. I don't know.
We were experiencing, and that
have another Hurricane Hunter flight flying right into the eye right now. They're doing their first pass in the storm. They're actually in and out of this pretty much nonstop. And we'll continue to get updates until this is pretty much gone. Winds right now that I'm seeing as of the latest pass look like they just flew into the eye wall up to around 110 knots. So you're talking pretty much right what we're seeing with the last update, 120 to 125 mile an hour winds. I think we're going to see some strengthening here as it pushes towards the Keys. It's out over open water. It's out over warm water. There's really nothing to stop it from strengthening further. So we're going to watch that data closely as they continue to fly in. Those guys just do awesome work. I mean, it's a lot of work to fly in and out of these storms nonstop, but certainly providing some life-saving info for us.
Have you ever been under the eye of a hurricane?
I've never been in the eye, but I think a lot of us will get an opportunity to be dealing with that, unfortunately, as this storm comes overhead. Right now, the eye looks like it's going to go right over Tampa.
Biscayne Bay, just to my right, already overflowing the banks, flooding out in some areas. So all of this, all these things, I think, is big.
And Paul's always talked about how, the right side of the hurricane is always the dirty side, if you will. Already, how many people are without power?
From what I've heard, just a few thousand, but obviously we expect that number to increase. It's sort of surprising. I mean, we have gotten these wind gusts and we expect power outages, but we really have not gotten the brunt of the storm.
Joel Altman is live in Miami tonight, monitoring South Florida. Joel, I know it's going to be a long couple of days for you as well, so stay safe and we'll be checking back in.
All right, well, can we go back and talk to Paul? Are we going to do that in a few
Yeah.
So I think we are actually, here comes the camera. It takes us a couple of seconds to turn it around. But we were talking and we wanted to get some more information from you to talk about timing, because we have you here and I know people at home are going to want timing. And also, you said something very important and prevalent. If you question at all your home and the strength of
integrity
it,
of your windows.
move.
I think a lot of people now are starting to think more about that than they were a couple of days ago. People are going, their husbands and wives, when did you get these windows? Are these good? Are they going to break? And I think if there's any question at all, I know a lot of people are reluctant. You're very reluctant to leave your castle. It's your house, and you just hate to drive off and kind of leave it there. So it's a tough kind of emotional decision to leave someone like a family member, but you've already done it all. Again, the whole story here is you want to be alive and functioning Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and beyond. And if you don't want to deal with being in a very uncomfortable situation Monday night and Sunday morning, all through that time frame, just take yourself in a shelter with a lot of nice people. And you were talking earlier, some of these shelters are pretty nice.
Most of them are newer schools. They're all brand new schools.
Right.
They're Cat 5 rated buildings. They do have supplies in there. They do have people who are there to help. And like you said, there's no better way to go through.
Right. We're not sure if they have Wi-Fi. We're not sure if they have Wi-Fi. But then that could be stressing a little bit.
Or TVs, but they accept your pets. You have to have the pets on the leash. We talked about that.
Well, we had a couple of people tweet us and said, I'm not sure about my windows. I couldn't get any wood. I'm a little afraid about it. It's hard to answer something like that. But the reality is, if you're the least bit unsure, and your windows are 20 plus years old and they're not impact rated, then you really probably should take the precaution of going.
Yeah, and I think I need to make this point too. The chances of you being in a concrete block home that's well built, the chances of you losing your life are very small. Even in Andrew, when you had a Cat 5 making landfall, those people, made it, most of them. And it was an experience they will never forget. And they're still suffering from it in many cases. But the thing is, you're going to make it. It's just a matter of the level of anxiety and stress. And it's not a very fun experience at all with the sounds outside, your house is shaking. So you're going to make it. It's just a matter of the concern about you know, a window breaks, something flies inside, your house is compromised. You kind of want to avoid all those issues. The worst case scenario is you have issues with your roof. The wind gets inside. If you ever get in a spot where you're really concerned, there's nothing wrong with hopping in a bathtub and putting a mattress on top.
No.
There really isn't. They did a lot of that in Andrew, and you just got to start. You got to. That's why I said
Ask somebody from Alabama about
right,
that.
right. And I think that's why we want you to watch our newscast. But I'm telling you, folks, get a good night's sleep and go to bed. Tomorrow night you're not going to sleep.
It's funny, right when you said that the sheriff department, Hillsborough sheriff, tweeted,
Yeah.
if you're done with your hurricane preparations, just literally the moment you were saying it, take a break, get a good night's sleep. It's going to be a long day.
Yes.
You need your rest.
Yeah, you do, because you need to have your wits about you to make good choices for your family, to keep your family safe.
Trust
But
me,
you
the
can't
power.
get
The
get
power. Let me tell you. Let me just thank the power of adrenaline, because adrenaline's a beautiful thing. I just need it to last until Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
You're doing a great job. We appreciate
Mark
every
likes
effort.
Mountain Dew, he'll get you
The
one.
Diet Mountain Dew, it's strong. Is there anything left in the break room? That's the question.
Oh, we're just getting started. We're well stocked. Trust me. We're here for our viewers, so we're not going.
I'm looking for an IV right now.
Yeah.
We can work on
okay,
that.
you're okay. Thank you, Paul, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, let's go now to Ken Suarez, he's out at the Polk County EOC.